Hello, hello, and welcome to the Friend Leigh Show. I am your host and friend, Leigh. Okay, so it's a brand new month, you guys, and that means that we're going to be doing a new series or theme, and I'm really, really excited for this one. I feel like I say that every month, but I really am. Also, I'm just realizing, okay, this whole thing is going to look very different because the sun is literally setting in my face right now, so it looks little anyway, you guys will tell me what it looks like. You're always honest with me. So anyway, here we are. So if you're listening to this in the podcast version or the audio version, and this is the first time that you're listening, I highly recommend that you come on over to YouTube or Facebook, even LinkedIn or Twitch. And we record live every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Central, or whatever the equivalent is for you. And the reason why I suggest you going over there is because we do live video. And so you become a part of the conversation and you don't have to be on video. So you can be listening or watching in your pajamas. That's fine. But anytime that you comment, I bring it up in the show and it becomes a conversation. I like to pretend that I've invited you over to my home. We're hanging out in my living room. I've invited a couple other friends. You've invited a couple friends. And here we are having a little chat. And what we do on this show is every month we have a theme. And then every week, we look at that theme through the lens of one of the pillars of the happy framework. And so this month, we're going to be talking about the habit of happiness. So I think we're going to have some really interesting conversations. Let me go and just make sure that this is all set up. I'm hoping that it is. It looks different for me for some reason when streaming to a profile. Uh-oh. Okay, so something is going on. Shoot, I don't know what's going on. Okay, so hopefully I'm going to be able to see your comments. So tonight's show might be a little bit different because it looks like StreamYard has switched it up again, and now I'm not possibly able to see them. So we'll see. Anywho, we're going to be doing the habit of happiness, and we're going to talk all about habits and how to create the identity of being a happy person. And that doesn't mean toxic positivity. It doesn't mean I'm always happy and everything's rainbows and butterflies. It just means having a happy spirit, even in the, hard times of life, being able to have that, whatever you consider happy. So we all have different definitions of what happiness is. For me, happiness really is having like an inner peace and kind of alignment that you're living your truth. And I hate using these kinds of words because it's so like out there that like everybody's talking about it, but it's just there's a truth about us of this is who I am and I'm doing the things that I believe in. I'm doing the things that feel good for me. And that alignment really brings peace. And when you're in that place, then you have happiness, in my opinion. It's when you it's when you feel one way and you show up a different way that there's that fight that you're not able to be happy in that moment. You're not able to be peaceful in that moment. And so having habits that we create and having the identity that we create that we are a happy person, shit can be happening all around us and we can still feel that peace and fulfillment and alignment inside of us. So we're going to be talking about it all month. We're going to look at every pillar. And this week, we're going to be talking about health and affection for yourself. So again, if you're new to the show, what I do at the very beginning is I made some notes, some things that I want to talk about. And then what we're going to do is we're going to shift over to your comments if they show. Yeah. So hold on just one second. Let me just read this out loud. Live viewer comments show up on StreamYard. This is an example of a comment. Okay. So if you guys, I see that we have eyeballs. So if you are watching me right now live and it is 7:36 p.m. on Wednesday, can you just say hello, please, in the comments, just so that I know you're here? I know some of you guys are shy and that's totally okay. I won't make you keep talking. But I do want to see that it's working because for some reason, it just doesn't seem to be, which is a real bummer. Um, Show comments and save. Okay, so anyway, we'll see. So here's some of the notes that I want to talk about, because this is not just it's not fluff. There's science behind it. It's really, really important that we create habits for us around health and affection for ourselves. And I was talking to somebody at Starbucks actually today, and we were talking about just that, and how everybody, is talking about self-care, and they're making it this like Instagram worthy, like, oh, look at the lodge I went to. Oh, I went to this camp. Oh, I went to this spa. And yeah, that's nice. That's great. But that's not self affection. That's not showing yourself that you love yourself. That's kind of like if you're in a bad relationship with somebody and they're like, oh, babe, no, don't worry. Like, let's go on a vacation. Yeah, you can go on a vacation for a week, but they're still the same person. And when you get home, they're still the same person, not showing that they love you. And so you're not going to believe that they love you. So just because you take yourself on a date and go to a spa, that's not showing that you love yourself. What's showing you love yourself is stepping up and doing the things that you need. So those things, especially in health and affection for yourself, that's where you really show up. So what are you doing for your health? And what are you doing? What are the promises that you're making yourself day in, day out that you're not keeping? And that's one of the easiest places that we can start in showing ourselves that we love ourselves, that we can start making little promises that we make every day, like setting an alarm, and then hitting snooze. The snooze is not keeping that promise, because you set the intention that you want to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. When that alarm goes off, if you just get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, that's one vote to the identity of, you know what? I keep my promise. When I say I'm going to do something, I do it. I matter enough to me that I'm going to hold that promise. So those are just some of the little things that we can be doing. We're going to talk more about that later on in the show. But I also wanted to talk about, there's something called the mind body loop. Okay. And so all that this is this is talking about how there is a direct link between our physical health and our emotional well-being. They are so linked that you can't not take care of yourself and feel emotionally well. You just can't. They are so, so linked. And also, when we're not feeling emotionally well, we don't take care of ourselves, right? So, one of the things where, if you're living with someone or you have a dear friend and they're not getting out of bed, and they're not taking care of themselves, they're not brushing their teeth, they're not doing anything that they used to find fun, all that kind of stuff. That's all, oh my gosh, are you depressed? That's one of the symptoms, because that loop, right? So it's, you see that they stop taking care of themselves when they don't have emotional well-being. But then also, when you don't have emotional well-being, you stop taking care of yourself. And when you stop taking care of yourself, you slip into not, having emotional health. So that cycle, we can start thinking about, if I start taking care of my health, then I will also be taking care of my mental and emotional and spiritual health, right? So, but here's the thing, if you haven't really been taking care of your health, or you haven't really been taking care of yourself, overhauling it is also not a great thing, because you're not going to be able to keep that up, and your body's not going to want to keep it up, because you're not going to feel safe in it. It's going to be like, whoa, hold on. We've never worked out, and now you want to go walking an hour every day for the next 7 days? Yeah, right. No, maybe you'll go once and you'll trick your body into thinking it's good. But the second day, you're not going to want to do it. And even if you push yourself, eventually you're going to get to the point that your body's going to be like, nope, that's not who we are. That's not what we do. And you will self-sabotage, only because you're going to fall back into the identity that you've always kept, right? So now, if you hold the identity that I am a happy person, and I take care of myself, and I treat myself the way that I would treat my best friend, if you have these types of identities, I show up for myself, I keep my promise to myself, all of that, now your body's going to be like, oh yeah, no, we do keep our promise to ourselves. So now it's going to be easier for you to go and work out every day or every other day, whatever you set up for yourself. So having that identity, and the way that you speak to yourself, and the way that you you kind of set the goal of who you are becoming, that has a lot to do with the actual habits that you're going to be keeping. The other quick tip is to do micro habits first. So what is the easiest? It's like a great gateway drug. So like what is the easiest way to get in? If you're working out, yeah, you can say, okay, I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. Okay. One of the hardest things for you to do is for you to get out of bed, get those shoes on, and get in the car and go to the gym. So it doesn't even matter. You're not going to do an hour at the gym if you can't even get to the gym. So all you have to focus on is getting to the gym 5 days a week. Don't worry about the hour. The hour will take care of itself. You have to focus on what is that little habit that's going to get me there. And so for me, one of mine is I love walking. I love walking in the morning, but I don't even really always tell myself how far I'm going to go. I just say that I'm going to get out the door and go for a walk. And once I'm out the door, that's the hardest part. And then once you start walking, I could walk for 4 hours, right? But it's just that getting over the hurdle. So what is that one little micro change that you're going to make? That if you just start focusing on that, eventually it'll make all the rest of it easier. Okay. When we're talking about affection for ourselves, we just like when we talk about happiness, that happiness doesn't exist out there. We're not searching for happiness out there and trying to find it and find the better job and find the better relationship and find this. It's all in here in the actions that we take. It's the same thing with affection for ourselves. It's not something that like people are going to show us our worth. We have to show us our worth. We have to step up that we are enough, that we are worthy of showing up for ourselves. Okay. And this is all like, it sounds so simple, and it is, but it's not always easy. Like it's very simple steps. It's very simple little micro mini things that will compound, that will become the person that we want to be. But doing those little things and making those changes is not easy. It's hard. It's hard work. And that's why, like in the happy circle, that's why we meet every single week in person. Well, I call it in person because I this is in person. But we get on Google Meet. So we're face to face to face. Everybody has a voice. And we show up every single week talking to each other about our happiness and what we're doing for it and the habits that we're doing and the actions that we're taking, because it's the actual implementation that's hard. We all know what we have to do. It's a matter of actually doing it. And that's why when we can make these little habits as little as possible, then we can have consistency around it. And then it just ends up that we just do that thing, right? You're the type of person that brushes your teeth in the morning. You know, you've been doing it for so long that that's just what happens. Okay. So I think that's going to be it. I'm going to go over and see if we have, yeah, you know what? This is a bummer. I don't think we're going to have comments because normally by now, because I do see that there's eyeballs watching, then normally we would have the comments here. So I'm sorry, guys. I know that you're here. Hello, hello, hello. But there is something weird happening and it will not show the comments. So I guess we're not going to be able to do the fun. Is there anything else that I can do? No, I can't. I'm in and I'm out and there's nothing that I can do. It's not going to show comments right now. Okay, so if you're listening to this for the first time, the reason why I'm really bummed is because at the end, for the last 15 minutes of the show, which would be right now, we do a lightning round where we ask questions and we get to know our friends a little bit more, which is really fun. And I get the questions on ChatGPT. That way, I didn't make them up. So I get to answer them at the same time that you do. And then that's one of my favorite parts of the show. But it looks like